This is the Amazon rainforest, a vast jungle that's unique in every way. It's home to the greatest variety of plants and animals. But just like everything else on Earth, human activity hasn't spared this beautiful green expanse, and it's in danger. Until the 19th century, humans rarely ventured into this forest, and those living in it didn't leave it either. But as South America's population grew and people from Europe and Africa came to acquire more agricultural land, they started devouring this forest like termites, and this destruction continues to this day. The Amazon rainforest spans 9 countries, none of which are developed nations even in 2024. For instance, over 60% of the Amazon is located in Brazil, followed by Peru with 13%, Colombia with 10%, and the rest scattered across Bolivia, Ecuador, French Guiana, Guyana, Suriname, and Venezuela. These 9 countries show no mercy to this jungle. And if we consider this a war, we see that these 9 countries have besieged the rainforest and are advancing day by day. To date, if we count, 20% of this forest has been destroyed, which is a significant amount. Don't think 20% is a small portion. The total area of the Amazon is around 27 million square miles, and 20% of that is approximately 540,000 square miles that have been decimated. It is predicted that by 2030, just 6 years from now, this destruction will reach 30%. This is a major problem for the Earth. Now, if this trend continues at the same pace, what will happen when 100% of this forest is wiped out? We mentioned that the Amazon rainforest covers about 27 million square miles, making it slightly smaller than the entire Australian continent. To completely eradicate this jungle, we would have to cut down 390 billion trees. In this scenario, the first problem that would grip the Earth is the increase in carbon dioxide levels. It's not for nothing that the Amazon rainforest is called one of the Earth's lungs, because it affects the amount of oxygen on Earth. And if these trees are gone, the percentage of carbon dioxide will rise. The first blow, besides the forest itself, would be to the Atlantic Ocean. Much of this abundant carbon dioxide would enter the ocean. When excessive carbon dioxide enters the water, it becomes more acidic, leading to the destruction of many aquatic creatures. Now, forget about the creatures in the water, what about the 10% of species that lived within this forest? What calamity befell them? We mentioned that the species found in this forest are unique and exist only there, so they would all become extinct. Biologists say that 40,000 plant species would become extinct. Over 25 million insect species would be wiped out. 1,300 unique bird species found nowhere else would disappear. 400 mammals would bid farewell to Earth forever, and 400 amphibians, which are also unique, would become extinct. In addition to all these plants and living creatures, there are also people who live in this forest. While they may not have advanced civilizations, various tribes have a combined population of 31 million. If the forest no longer exists, this population would also have to migrate to cities. If these plants and trees are absent in this area, the soil of this forest would become loose and soggy, with no trees or vegetation to hold it in place. As a result, the soil would erode and gradually be washed into the Atlantic Ocean. This is even worse than the problem of Earth's oxygen supply, because we would be sending the most fertile soils on Earth into the depths of the ocean with our own hands. Geologists say that if this happens, a vast delta would form at the mouth of the Amazon River, where it meets the Atlantic Ocean, composed of the washed-away fertile soil. The destruction of this forest would also send the economies of these 9 countries into a downward spiral. For instance, a large country like Brazil's economy is dependent on this forest, be it for tourism, agriculture, exports, or many other aspects. This is despite the fact that Brazil, the wealthiest Amazon country, already has a weak economy. Well, these are the problems related to these countries, but what would happen to the entire world? The biggest issue that would affect the whole world is evapotranspiration. You might say that evaporation is related to oceans and water bodies, but in this process, plants and trees also play a vital role. Plants produce water vapor due to photosynthesis on their leaves, which is released as water vapor and helps form other vapors and rain-bearing clouds. Don't underestimate this. For example, a mature oak tree, which you might think is insignificant and can be easily cut down, releases about 150,000 liters of water vapor per year. You should know that plants release about 97% of the water they absorb during photosynthesis. They are not like some people who want to consume everything themselves and say, "What's it to us?" You might not believe it, but 15% of the water stored in clouds comes from plants and trees. We mentioned all this to say that the Amazon rainforest produces its own water and is not dependent on the surrounding oceans. The more these trees are cleared, the less rainfall there will be. This is why the thought of these trees not existing is terrifying, because, ultimately, this region would turn into a dry desert. Geologists know this well because it has happened on Earth many times before. The 20% of the forest that has already been destroyed has made much of the Amazon region and its surroundings drier by that same percentage. The problem with the Amazon is that it remains like a historical work of art. For example, even if we try to restore the 20% that has been destroyed, we cannot. It's like a work of art that has been damaged. No matter how many trees we plant, it will never be the same as before. Of course, that's not to say we shouldn't plant trees, but what we mean is that a forest that has been destroyed and then rebuilt will never be the same as before. You should know that the Amazon rainforest is dependent on the Sahara Desert because this vast desert has provided the phosphorus fertilizer for the Amazon rainforest. How? The winds that blow across the Sahara Desert carry phosphorus along with other nutrients, cross the Atlantic Ocean, and deliver them to the Amazon, a massive natural fertilizer spreader. There are also several theories about this, theories that are so logical that even scientists cannot refute them. Some scientists believe that about 6,000 years ago, the Amazon rainforest and the Sahara Desert exchanged places. At that time, the Sahara Desert was a vast, lush jungle, while the Amazon was an arid desert. Most of those who believe in this idea are geologists and archaeologists because they say it's easy to detect. In the Sahara Desert, if we examine the ground, we can find traces of rivers, lakes, and forests not from 1,000,000 years ago, but just 6,000 years ago. This is why we say these are strong theories, and these theories and ideas don't end there because they suggest that the Amazon and the Sahara Desert likely exchange places every few thousand years. We don't know when the next time will be for the Sahara Desert to become lush again, whether it's 5,000 years from now, 10,000 years from now they say it happens. But of course, keep in mind that it's just a theory, not a certainty. In any case, the Earth currently has a few main lungs. The three main ones are the Amazon, the Congo Basin, and the Siberian forests, which are among the largest producers of oxygen. Of course, there are other places like the Indian subcontinent or Southeast Asia. Unfortunately, all these vital lungs are on the decline. What will happen? We don't know. If you know, please comment, and if you liked the video, please like and subscribe.